Good afternoon. I almost said good morning, grade 4s, and welcome to Natural Sciences. We are in week 9 at the moment. I am Mrs. de Klerk, your natural science teacher. And remember yesterday I told you how cold it was here by me. It was rainy and it was windy. Today everything changed. It's a very nice and sunny day here by me today. I hope those of you that are cold, that you have a nice blanket around you. Close by us, it is actually snowing on the mountains. So if I can find some pictures of it, I will show you guys soon. Then I'll put some of it on the slide. Okay. Right, let's quickly recap on Tuesday's lesson. We looked at materials around us. We looked at solids, liquids, and gases. And we spoke about that. And you guys, I asked you, we did a specific activity where we spoke about a tuna fish as well. And you guys asked me what a tuna fish looks like and how big it is. So I included a photo for you. Some of you said tuna fish is very small. Some of you said it is extremely large. And here is a photo. There we go. This is how big a tuna fish can be. Okay, so it's not as small as we think. One tuna fish can fill a lot of tuna cans. Do you guys see it? Huge, right? Yes, I know. Right, let's continue. A little peek at what we are going to do today. We are going to look at change of state and what causes change of state. Now, when I speak about state, I speak about states of matter, which would be a liquid, a gas, or a solid. Okay, so we are going to look at how it changes from one of those states to another. Just before we continue, I have a question for you guys. Let's see who know this. Who of you will know this? I'm going to name 4 things, and then you tell me which one of these is the smallest. Number 1, an elephant. Number 2, a molecule. Number 3, an electron. Or number 4, an atom. What do you think? What do you think is the smallest? An elephant, a molecule, an electron, or an atom? Let's see what you guys say. Some of you are saying atoms, some of you are saying molecule, some of you are saying electrons. Zinzi, you are right. An electron is the smallest because it is a particle that is found inside an atom. Now, there's a reason why I'm telling you guys this because, well, you will find out later on during the lesson, okay? By the way, did you know this? In one single grain of sand, atoms are so small that there are 60 million trillion atoms in a single grain of sand. Can you believe that? Isn't that just amazing? Okay, so an electron is the smallest, and you will find an electron inside an atom. Okay. Like I said, there's a reason why I asked you this question, and you will find out later. Yesterday, we looked at the states of matter, which was solids, liquids, and gases. And here are examples of the 3. A solid, we said, could be stones, something that you can move around. It doesn't change shape, it's fixed. A liquid, which you can pour, it will fill the container it is in. And then we looked at gases as well, like that guy with his scuba tank on his back. Right, now a substance can change from one state to another. So remember I said these are the three states, solids, liquids, and gases. A substance can change from one state to another. A solid can change to a liquid, or a liquid to a solid, or a liquid can change to a gas. Okay, so that is what we will be looking at today. For example, a solid can change into a liquid, like I just said. And I'm sure you can think of many examples of that happening. Can you tell me quickly, who of you can think of a solid that changes into a liquid? Can you write that in your chat for me? Ice? Yes. Okay, a lot of you are saying ice. Chocolate. Nice. Chocolate is definitely also one, and we'll actually be looking at chocolate tomorrow. So I think when you come to tomorrow's class, you should bring some chocolate with you because you will get hungry. All right, let's carry on. Let's look at change of state. Now an example, like we used on the previous slide, water is a liquid in your glass, but in the freezer, water is ice. Now water and ice are made of the same things, but it can change. It can be a liquid or it can be a solid. Ice is a solid, there you go. But water that's made of exactly the same thing as ice can be a liquid. Now, what makes these substances change from one state to another? And what does it look like inside? Okay. I just want to see your chat box here quickly. Okay. What causes a state of change? We know that matter can be in the solid, liquid, or gas state. Let's use the example on the previous slide, water. So we'll look at water again. That's the easiest one to look at, okay? If you place tap water into an ice tray and you put this in the freezer, what is going to happen to the water? I'm sure all of you know this. This is an easy question, so let's see what you are saying. What is going to happen to the water? If you put it in an ice tray and you put it in the freezer, good guys, it freezes. It freezes, yes, you are absolutely right, it freezes. Now question number 2. If you now take ice cubes and you place them in the sun, what will happen to the ice cubes? It melts. Good job. We're all saying it melts. You are right. It freezes when you put it in the freezer. It melts when you put it in the sun. So the difference between the freezer and the sun outside is that one is hot and the other is cold. As easy as that. Now, if we place the water in a place that is cold enough, it freezes. There you see it. If we place the ice cubes in a hot place, they melt. This is because the state of matter can be changed from one to another by adding or removing heat. Okay, you see that in the pictures. If you add heat, something that is a solid, then it will melt and it will turn into a liquid. If you remove heat, you see the here, then the solid, then the liquid will become a solid. Okay. Remember that the reason for this, because it can change from one state to another by adding or by removing heat. So if we put it in other words, changing the state is equal to changing the temperature. If you change the temperature, the state will also change. Okay. Now we are going to read a story, and it's from the Thunderbolt book, Social Sciences, Grade 4, to understand a bit more. We are going to yes, Unat, you already know. We are going to read the story about Mashadu on the following slides, and then you are going to answer some of the questions that follow. So I will read it to you, and you can listen. Mashadu is a boy in grade 1 at a primary school in a small village which gets very hot in summer. He loves to play soccer. After school, he often goes over to the Thunderbolt School of Learning to play with the Thunderbolt kids. They really like having Mashadu to play with them, even though he's a few years younger, because he's very talented and also fun and caring. Mashadu especially likes Jojo, and they play well together as a team. One day after school, Mashadu thought he would do something nice for his friends, the Thunderbolt kids, and surprise them with ice lollies for when they were finished playing. Mashadu bought 5 ice lollies, one for himself and one for each of the Thunderbolt kids. He put the ice lollies in a bowl and placed some ice blocks around them to keep them cool. Mashadu then ran off to join the others playing soccer. After the game, Mashadu ran back to the bowl to get the ice lollies. But he got such a shock when he got there. They were all gone. He was so upset and started to cry. The Thunderbolt kids saw that Mashadu was upset and ran over to see what was wrong. Hey Mashadu, what's wrong? Did you hurt yourself while playing? Jojo asked. No, I didn't. I bought some ice lollies for all of you as a surprise. And when I came back now to get them, they were all gone. I think someone stole and ate them and just left the sticks. Look, Mashadu cried out. Oh no, don't cry, Mashadu. It's not your fault, and no one stole them or ate them either, Farah said while rubbing Mashadu on the back. Yes, Mashadu, actually, we learned in class today about what happened to your ice lollies, said Sophie. And I can explain it to you too. Do you see that your bowl is actually not empty? There's a liquid in it. And it also has a red color, which was the color of your ice lollies. Yes, I see that, answered Mashadu. But then how did that happen? Tom then answered, your ice lollies melted from the heat from the air around us. Even if the sun was not so hot, they would have melted. For something to stay frozen, it needs to be at a very cold temperature, like a freezer. Yes, melting is when heat causes the solid ice lollies to change into a liquid, Sophie replied. So no one stole the ice lollies, they just melted. Oh, okay, I see, said Mashadu. I must be really silly not to know that. No, not at all, Mashadu. We only learned about it today in class, and we are in grade 4, laughed Farah. I know what we should do, shouted Jojo. Let's go to the tuck shop right now. I have some extra change, and we can buy some more frozen ice lollies. They all really liked this idea, especially Mashadu, who was now laughing. So off they all went, the Thunderbolt kids and Mashadu and bought some more ice lollies and sat under the tree to eat them. Okay. Yes, we are doing NS, Siseko. This is part of it. Now we have some questions about what you just read. There you can see two pictures. The first picture are the ice lollies, and it is still in a solid form. And in the second picture, you see that it changed state because heat was added, the sun, of course, and now it is a liquid. Okay. What is the name, firstly, of the main character in the story? Who can quickly tell me? Can you remember? Yes. I can also test your hearing, your listening for English. So I will tell your English teacher that your listening is good. Okay, his name is Machado. And what grade is Machado in? Oh, I have a lot of different numbers. Grade 3, grade 1, grade 4, grade 1, grade 4. And the answer is, he is in grade 1. Now remember, the others are in a different grade. That's why they knew about ice lollies that could melt, but he was too small, he didn't know yet. So in what grade are the Thunderbolt kids? Yes, they are in grade 4. You've got it. So he was in grade 1. He doesn't know about science. And they are in grade 4. Now, what game, just to see if you guys were really listening and reading, what game are the children playing together after school? What do you guys say? And I have a unanimous answer here. All of you heard correctly. They were playing soccer. Now look at question 5. When the ice lollies are frozen, are they solid, are they liquid, or are they gas? So ice or ice lollies, in what state is it? Solid, liquid, or gas? Okay, all of you are saying the following. Solid. You are all right. Question number 6. Explain in your own words what happened to the ice and the ice lollies when they were left in the sun. I want you to quickly type in your chat box and tell me in your own words what happened to it. Why? What happened to ice? What will happen to ice lollies if you leave them in the sun? They melted because of the heat. They melted. The heat around them caused the ice lollies to melt. Perfect. Heat from the sun causes a state change, and the ice lollies melt from a solid to a liquid. Okay, our next question. What is the name given to this process? I think most of you already answered that in the previous question. Melting. It is a change of state, you are right, but when it goes from a solid to a liquid because heat was added, we call it melting. Okay, do you think you can reverse the process of melting? And if you say yes, how would you do this? Can you reverse it? In other words, can you make something that has melted and is now a liquid? Can you change it back into a solid? What do you guys say? You say yes, you can freeze it, yes, by putting it in the freezer. So it will freeze again. Yes, you can freeze the liquid so that it becomes ice again, but it would not be in the same shape as the ice lollies, unless, of course, you put it in a mold. You put it in the same mold than when the ice lolly was made, then it will be an ice lolly again, and then you put the ice cream stick in there as well. But if you just freeze it in the way that it is now, In this story, it was in a bowl. It will be frozen like that. So you know that the shape will not, it won't retain its shape if you don't put it in the right thing. Number 9, yes, you have to answer. What is your favorite type of ice cream or ice lolly? Now I want to hear from you guys, so now I can get to know you better as well. What is your favorite type of ice cream or ice lolly? You can give me a flavor or a type that you like. I'm going to read it to you. Sam is saying red chocolate, vanilla ice cream and chocolate. Vanilla, a lot of you like vanilla. Chocolate, bubble gum, chocolate, cookie dough, chocolate flavored ice cream. That's my favorite too. Strawberry, vanilla, orange, mint, or chip, chocolate chip probably, chip mint. I would get them each a chocolate and, oh, that's the last question. Caramel, nice. Oh, you guys are making me want to go get ice cream after this. If you wanted to do something nice for your friends, what would you do? Like Mashado, he wanted to do something nice for his friends. What would you guys do? Senzi says, buy them sweets. That is something nice to do. Always good to share. What would you guys do? What would be a nice thing to do, especially now after lockdown when you see your friends again? Get them party packs, some sweets, nice. Make a pie. I will buy them a lot of sweets and chips. I see you guys like to give freely to your friends. Buy them good chocolate. Buy them what they want. Wow, Zoe, I want to be your friend too then. Invite them to the best party ever. Give them fruit. Take them to school. That's a kind act. I would give them a hug and a present. A unicorn cupcake. Nice. Give them hot dogs. Make a card. I like your ideas, guys. You all seem like a really friendly and kind bunch. Ooh, give them jelly tots. I love jelly tots. Okay, let's move on. Now let's quickly look at what we learned from Mashado's experience with the ice lollies. The ice lollies were frozen and cold. Now I know this is easy for you guys, but I am building a foundation for us because we will go to different states of matter tomorrow, and it's not as easy as this, okay? When they were placed in the sun, they started to warm up. And this heat caused a state change to take place. The ice changed to a liquid. And this is called melting. That is actually a scientific name, melting. Okay. Now, if you think about it, on a hot summer's day, then you know there's nothing more refreshing than a tall glass of water, which is a liquid, with ice that is a solid. Both water and ice, like I told you before, are made of the same stuff. Now I'll give you some scientific reason why they are different. The only difference is the way that the particles inside of them move around. We touched on this yesterday. The particles in liquid water move around more freely than the closed packed particles in ice. So if you had to see through a microscope, you'll see these round little particles, and in liquid, they move around freely, but in ice, they're more compacted. But if you set the ice in a warm place, the particles will start moving around more, and then the solid ice turns into liquid water. And that is the scientific process of melting. That is how a solid is turned to a liquid. Okay. Now, when Mashado and the Thunderbolt kids went to get new ice lollies from the tuck shop, these ice lollies were frozen, but they were originally made from a liquid. So remember, this is the reverse process. It started with a liquid, but to get it to be a solid, they had to freeze it. Okay. The liquid was poured into the shape of an ice lolly, and then they were cooled as heat was removed and they froze. Now, if we talk about freezing from a liquid to a solid, have you ever heard someone say that they froze up? This usually means that for some or other reason, the person became scared or they couldn't move. Then they will say, I froze up. Now, that is similar to what happens when you take heat away from liquid matter, such as water. The loose particles of matter in liquid can no longer move. This change of state is called freezing. Okay. And that means when a liquid turns into a solid, like when water is frozen into ice, or in this case, where the liquid, say juice, was turned into an ice lolly. The everyday way to take heat away from a substance is to put it in the freezer or the refrigerator. Now, when liquid changes to a solid, it is called solidifying. Right. So when a state change takes place and a solid is turned into a liquid, we call it melting. But the other way around, when a liquid changes to a solid because heat changes it, it is called solidifying. Or when heat is taken away, I'm sorry. Okay, now here you will see that in the ocean, icebergs and floating ice are water that has frozen because it is so cold. So there is an example for you in nature of what can happen. Okay. Now let's quickly recap. We're almost at the end of our lesson, and I made it shorter today because I want to speak to you guys about Kahoot, and I want to explain to you how it works, okay? But before we get there, let's quickly recap. Matter is everything around us. Now, materials are matter used to make something that we spoke about yesterday as well. Solids are matter that has a fixed shape, and liquids are matter that runs or flows. It can be poured, and it takes the shape of the container. Gases are mostly invisible. It takes the shape of the container and it spreads out, or it flows out in space. And a change of state is brought about by heating and cooling matter. Now, other forms of change of state can take place. We just spoke about melting and freezing today. Tomorrow, we are going to look at condensation. We are going to look at evaporation. Those are all also different changes of state that can take place. Okay, so we will look at how something can be turned into a gas as well tomorrow. So I want you all to come to tomorrow's lesson so that we can continue to look at the change of state. And we will look at many examples tomorrow, and one of them being chocolate that melts and turns back into a solid. And we will also look at how to make ice cream. I see some of you, or one of you said in the chat box earlier that your grandma taught you how to make ice cream. Yes. Monique, my grandma taught me how to make ice cream. So tomorrow, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that. Okay. So guys, here is my email. If you want to ask any questions, you are more than welcome. Or if you want to talk about something more specific that you don't understand, you are more than welcome to email me. Okay, now I quickly want to talk to you about, this is what it looks like. We are going to play this on Friday. We'll do a type of assessment. I am going to ask you guys some questions on all the work we have done about animals, about habitat, about states of matter, everything that you have done with me so far. Okay, it is just a game, so don't worry about it too much. Don't be scared. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now remember, you are going to probably do this in a lot of your classes as well. You will do it in English also, I know. Okay, so this is good. Remember, I asked you guys if you have a second device. Now, this is what I mean with a second device. The picture that you see here is what you will be seeing on your screen on the computer. You will see that on my presentation, right? On a second device, if you have one, I'm going to tell you now what to do if you don't. On a second device, like a cell phone, I am going to send you a link. And then you have to type in a pin. Now, it's not going to be this pin. It will be the pin that I send you, and you will see the pin on this screen, or I can read it to you. Then you are going to type that pin in. These 4 blocks will appear on your screen. So if it's your cell phone, it will have those 4 blocks. If you are playing in a computer, the same thing. You will only see those 4 blocks. You won't see the question. Okay, this will be on your other screen. Then a question will come up, like this question will be, it's the museum. People had to choose between crossing, across from, across the street, or across, which is spelled wrong, by the way, but never mind. And then on your screen, you have to touch the color with the right answer. So say the right answer was, it's across from the museum, which is the blue answer, right? Then you are going to touch the blue one on your screen, on your device that you have. Yes, Unati, you can record what I'm saying now. Okay, you can also Google Kahoot.it, Kahoot.it, and it will show you nicely how the game works. But you will receive a pin from me, and then you just, I will tell you what link to follow on Friday. You will follow that link, and then I will give you a pin to our specific game. Okay. I hope you guys understand a little bit more about how it works. Now, I want to tell those of you who don't have a second device, you have 2 choices. If you work on a computer, you can split your screen. So you can have 2 things open on the internet at the same time. So then you will see this part on the one side of your screen, and you will see the 4 blocks on the other side of your screen. It is possible to do that. Okay, Erin is saying there's an echo on the sound. Let me move a little bit and maybe it will be better. Okay, now if you have a split screen, it will work the same. Okay, you will click on the color with the right answer. If you don't want to make a split screen, or you are only working from a cell phone, that is okay too, because I will read the questions and you will see those 4 blocks like you see on the cell phone now. And I will read to you, when heat is taken away from a solid, what is that process? And it turns into a liquid, what is that process called? And maybe the red one will say freezing, the blue one will say condensation, the yellow one will say boiling, and the green one will say melting, right? And melting will be the answer. So then you press or you click on the green one. Now, what makes Kahoot so nice is it is going to record your answers. So you are going to actually put in a nickname or your own name. It will ask for your name when you sign in. then you can put your nickname or your real name in there. And then every time you guys answer, the one who answers first and is correct will get a score. So everyone playing the game is going to get a score. So I can actually see how many of the questions you got right. And at the end of the game, there will be a winner. And that will be the one that answered the fastest and the most correct. Okay. Now, everybody is not going to see everyone's score. You will only see the top 3 or the top 5. I'm not sure. You will see their score. All right. For those of you who will be joining the English classes, I think your English teacher will also show you how Kahoot works today. I'm not sure, but you can ask her about it at the end of the lesson, okay? I will speak about this again tomorrow for those students that didn't join us today. And if you have any questions about it, then you can email me or you can have your questions ready tomorrow. You are going to receive a link on your screen. And with that link, you can sign in. You have to put in your name. I will give you a PIN that you need to put in. And then you have to put in your name, but I will guide you through everything. It's very easy. And then we will play the game. Do you guys understand? Friday. And if you like it a lot, we can do it Friday. Okay. What does the winner get? I'll have to think about that one. A virtual ice cream. You'll get a virtual ice cream. Okay, we are going to have a lot of fun with this. And like I said, if you guys really like it, then we will continue doing it on Fridays to do a little bit revision of what we did during the week and to see if you guys understand everything. And then you will also see what you didn't understand and you can ask me about it, okay? It's always a good thing to test yourself because that's when you realize what you still need to give, where you still need to give attention. All right, guys, so that was the short of it of Kahoot. I'm sure your English teacher will tell you a little bit more about it. I'm very much looking forward to playing it with you. If you have any questions, keep them for tomorrow and you can ask me, I will answer you. Right, like I said, you can go Google Kahoot, kahoot.it. Okay, and that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. And I hope to see all of you guys back here tomorrow. And definitely back on Friday, we are going to have a lot of fun, but try to go through the work that we did the last 3 weeks, because those are questions that I included in the Kahoot game. So every question will have a possibility of 4 answers, sometimes 2 answers. I will ask yes or no questions as well. Okay, guys, enjoy your day, enjoy the rest of your classes, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.